What's good? Okay, whole new thing here, back in the building. Or back outside of the building, not actually inside of the building. We'll see who shows up for this little last piece of this evening's show, and as always, for the people that are coming into these things in the future, if this is the first thing you've ever watched, I'd suggest go watching something else before you start here, because this is the third little articulation for the day, and it's probably not following any sort of standard context that I do in the rest of my videos. What up, Zet Chrono? We'll see who shows up for this little last bit here. Hey, Zet Chrono, your little emblem there, is that yours? Did you draw that? Is that like a fire inside of like a hand? Is that what that is? And is that yours? What up, Shania? I've never seen you on here before, so as I was saying before, this is not a standard Zen chat, but we'll just we'll dig in. We'll just see where it takes us. I'm just finishing up from some other things we were talking about here. Hey, Katesh, you're annoyed with your kids? Just go tell them. You shouldn't be annoyed. Tell them like it's their fault. They did it to themselves. those little running amok around there for you. Ah, wicked, man. I like it a lot, man. It is very interesting. I do like it. No, it's not your fault you're annoyed, love. It's their fault. That's what I'm saying. Their fault they're annoying you. You're the mother. They need to have some damn manners. Stop annoying mom. Oh, Zenith, I ain't been able to get through a whole day. Interesting. Have a beautiful evening. See you soon. Maybe Thursday, yeah. Okay, well, what up, Jesse Mom? Yeah, you're making a sigil? Yeah, man. I think it's super. It has some potential. I think cleaning up something, I don't know, something about the hand part up here. Is that a blue outline around it? Because I'm looking at a small screen, so I can't really tell. It is fresh though. So Zenith, where do you fail? Where do you fail at your ability to make where do you fail at the hour of the day where you can't fast? And what is a sigil? A sigil is basically an image that, it's like, think of McDonald's logo. That's a sigil. They just call it a logo, but it's a sigil. It's a very big sigil. Usually a sigil will be used and you'll draw it and you'll put it in a circle, and it'll be something for your subconscious mind to kind of help remind you or to make a reality happen. What up, Earth-inspired pottery? So yeah, Zenith, where do you get stuck? And what do you get stuck on? Do you just end up eating something like garbage, or do you end up eating like a fruit or whatever? I am slurping on some tea, and I got the rest of this beer. But what sucks is I got a straw that's broken. Can't stand the broken straw, man. So what do you guys want to dive into here? We're about 5 minutes in, so I guess whoever's showing up is going to show up. So we'll get on this little chitty chat. I'm getting this lovely contact high though. Organic beets, man. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's tough to come by. I don't know anything about beets. I mean, you can. I mean, for me, I always just say check out Amazon, see what you can find on Amazon, or there's another place called. Give me 1 second. Let me think about this. See, when you say think about something, you look up and over here because you're actually accessing a different part of your mind. This is why that happens. You go, and you're looking around up here. Vitacost. Look up Vitacost. You might be able to find organic beets on Vitacost. You want me to let down my hair, Miss Natasha? I might do that in a second for you. Yeah, image. There you go. It's an image. Oh, fruit trees and bananas. Nice, nice. Oh yeah, yeah. See, whenever I start eating during the morning, like when I first get up, I'm hungry all day. If I don't eat when I first get up and I get past that first little kind of craving, it's gone. Oh, electric towel. I just got the other thing you sent me, and that's awesome. I wanted to dig into that, but maybe I'll leave it for an entire show, like I said, and we'll get kind of deeper into the. I kind of dipped into it a little bit, but considering you brought it up, I'll do a whole show on it. But I don't have enough juice in this computer right here, so that's why I'm just kind of, ending this little bit here on like whatever juice I have left in the spacecraft. And I hate to get into something that turns into 25 minutes and I only got 10 minutes left down here. Yeah, I was thinking about the electric towel. I was thinking about the concept of the supermind and the supermind and the submind, and what that has to do with kind of the infinite creative whatever. Yeah, yeah. We'll do that definitely. Maybe tomorrow. Yeah, man. I mean, Cam. I'm happy to do all that, but just like I said, man, I don't want to get into something really, really like deep that could turn into a long conversation. Because I don't have that much juice left on this thing, and I would hate to like cut it off in that stream of consciousness trying to help people out with something like that. You know what I mean? I'd rather kind of keep it on the tarot slash, little surface level stuff. You know what I'm saying? What up, Neelay Patel? I'll dip into dreadlocks right now. So all the hair things, like think about it, like it's literally locking up energy systems. Now, all hair has a different capacity to collect energy differently, whether it's straight or whether it's curly. Like think about like if you had a antenna, the antenna would collect energy differently, and a dread is going to collect energy differently. So there are benefits to any kind of hairstyle, excuse me, including shaving your head, but the benefits you get out of other hairstyles seem to be of higher value. The benefit to somebody shaving their head, like a Buddhist would, as I've gotten into, is because you're literally cutting off not only history, you're kind of getting rid of what they consider their karma and what would be considered memory. So if my memory is stored somewhere in my hair, or my connection to things, if they keep getting rid of that, they're starting anew and fresh every day. Where a shaman would never cut their hair, and neither would somebody that's dreaded. But those dreadlocks are actually holding up power in a different way. So, think of it. If you had 2 wires, because your hair is silicone, if you have 2 silicone wires, and then you have 3, and they're just sitting there, right? Only so much amperage can go through each one. But if we bind that up and make a braid out of it, it's stronger and can hold more charge. You would burn out 3 separate wires, but one of a bigger gauge works infinitely more, or 3 bound together to be 1 wire. So thinking of it in that way, the strength that can be held in a dreadlock is even more. But there's also the weight of it. I mean, literally think about if you have a lot of dreadlocks, you're carrying around weight. You're carrying weight. If you got long hair, because shamans have long hair, that's you have history and heritage and weight in there. Some people might want to carry weight. They want to be more Flash Gordon on it. And that's really, it has something to do with like your capacity to use information from the past or energy to do something, versus people that like would rather have no ties that bind them to anything from the past. They're both just ways of living and participating in the world. I think at the highest level, it doesn't matter what you do with any of your hair. If you already have it inside of you, Dumbo throw it all down. You could draw all over your skin. You could cut off your hair. You can do anything you want. But within you is always you are the power. You are the essence and the source. It doesn't matter what you do to your hair. It doesn't matter about your fingernails. It don't matter about anything, because you're the operant force. But prior to getting to that point, we live in a world that is actually physical, and the physical things can and will and do have an impact on our day-to-day life, whether those physical things are hair, whether they're crystals or whatever's in the computer, the wires that are going through it, or the rubber on this car, or the engine that's in there made out of whatever material. Like it's all having an impact on on your life. So these systems, these energy systems, and these getting back to the hair thing, is like some people can be held down by the past, and other people can use that as some sort of, ground, some sort of like mechanism. Say, hey, I'm glad I have these memories, and they move and they change their lives, and they do things with their life differently. Where other people, that's not good for them, Whoa, yeah, the Wi-Fi is weak, Zenith. That's very funny you say that, because when I first started making videos, I was like, I can't even record these, but this is why I do them live, because now it quickly uploads. It only takes like 10 minutes to upload these things after I do it. But if I were to record this and try to upload 10 minutes, even 20 minutes of me 20 minutes of me talking, it would take hours and hours and hours, and I wouldn't have enough space on my computer, so it kind of works out better. What up, Daniel? Live, love, raw. What's going on? Yeah, exactly. If they were different, I would be happy. That's the first point of anyone coming to like, well, if only that was different. Well, apparently we happen to be here on Earth. Apparently, so just let you guys know about timing. I don't know, maybe like 10 more minutes on here. But yeah, Cam, I'll try to dig into that on a whole specific episode for you, and for you and Electric Towel. We'll get into that, because I think those will kind of lead into each other. The two. I mean, I know you don't know what he was emailing me about, but it'll link up with that a lot. The emotions, and then getting into what is stored energy, which is star, anyways. But maybe I'll start telling you guys some of the old stories I used to tell about how to understand things through, like I've done the one about cars and how to look at a car. I've done the one about buildings. I'll do the one about stores soon. Stores and the items inside of there, and how to decode language through that and look at things differently. Any significance of growing a beard? Yeah, I kind of went over this a few times. The significance, it seems to be like, why would I shave it if I happen to have a beard? Like, women don't grow a beard and men do. I think there's a reason for that. And I think that has a lot to do with, like, even getting into the funnier stuff about whenever people, like, start playing the gender game. I'm like, no, just stop. Beard, or, you know, is it there or not? Like, it seems like this just grows. Why am I cutting it off my face? So what is it? You know, it seems to have some sort of energy and power to it. It has something. For me, it definitely feels different if it's on my face or not. I mean, I think it has about the same, conceptually, it has the same kind of thing as your hair up here would. You know, and we've talked about, like, doing this, like, there's energy in that. I'm actually, like, charging something. Like, if my hands are electrically charged, and this is silicone and silica, and playing with this is actually some sort of electrical charge, some static charge. Yeah, Zenith, I like that one. Hey, don't worry, TsarZen, you can have a whole life of more of that shit too. Unless you learn at an early age about what it is. And start to see your relationship to your own heart and to other people differently. Yeah. It's a good thing, man. Yeah, well, you know what that is, man? You know, you're not learning it from me, you're learning it about yourself. I just happen to somehow coordinate energy into words to say things that alleviate mental distresses and convey messages from other realms of existence. So make your experience here on this earth as comfortable and wonderful as possible. And one of the easiest ways to do it is having a better understanding of what you are yourself as the universal prime creative force of all things. And from there, what you'll do is you'll find ways of not setting yourself up with things that will lead to what tends to be heartbreak. You know? A little bit of chocolate. But Katesh, I read that all funny. I read something about fists. I was like, what? But yeah, Cam. It's like just learning how to. You know, a lot of people go through breakups or whatever, and then they must protect self, and they protect themselves from, as if the other people out there doing things, but then what you learn is actually you protect yourself by not involving yourself in things that get to those places, right? And so it's more of a learning process. But what you'd have to learn in the interim is you have to be more selective with relationships, and that can be hard to do, man, in any regard, because you're like, oh, everybody's a good person, I want to hang out with everybody and, you know, be friendly and blah blah blah. Some people just you have to know when it's like, this shit ain't working, and learning that is learning to kind of divert path before a relationship is even into the mix, right? Any relationship for that matter, not just girlfriend boyfriend, but like any relationship. My longest relationship, 10 years maybe. I don't know, 9, 10, 12. I mean, I don't know. I have one relationship, I wouldn't consider it, like, it's ongoing, but it's not like, not physically, but it was for a while. 12 years. But even at that, though, that's hard to say because I had an open relationship, so the capacity to go do other things too. If you ask me, like, from a monogamous standpoint, not too many very long monogamous relationships have I had. Oh, thank you. I know. You know what's funny? Somebody else told me that today, so I went and, or unless it was you, I don't know. So I went and re-listened to it. Yeah, thank you. The iatrogenic and pharmacognition. Thank you. UG Krishnamurti. People ask me about UG all the time. I mean, I always quote Jiddu. I always quote him saying, "Do you know does anybody here? I think anybody here would probably know my favorite of his. It's no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society." Now, UG, some other people have recently said, I should check out more of his work. I just haven't gotten to a lot of his stuff, so I don't really have much opinion on him. But the people that have told me to check his work out, I respect them, so. In terms of greatness, nah. Charles Manson, I would assume he's just part of the larger Hollywood movie cult. I don't know the dude. Don't know. Funny you should ask. Somebody, Tom Robbins, the author of a bunch of amazing books, talks about his meeting Charles Manson. I believe it was Charles Manson. But anyways, yeah, I just believe these people to be like, I don't even believe those stories, man. That's all made for TV stuff. I don't know. I ain't got no opinion on it, really. All I can really have an opinion on is people's books, information I've read. Other than that, like, unless I've met the person, I got no opinion on just about anyone. Especially considering the amount of I did this at the first show. Like, man, I got all the Hollywoods back because I don't know, just from the sense of, like, I don't know those cats. Everybody out here like, oh, they know what goes on everywhere in Hollywood. They're a bunch of Satanists. They're they're just crazy people. They're just doing all this shit. And I'm like, okay, do you know them? How do you know this? Oh, well, so and so said it. That so and so said. I'm like, well, now we're dealing with that whole, let's play phone, and we'll put the phone up, and you're gonna like, and then down the line you're gonna be like, what the fuck are we talking about anymore? Back to self. I don't really. Yeah, I have views on UG Krishnamurti's writings and his words, but not on him, and especially not on Charles Manson. It's kind of like, I mean, I would just put, because this is actually where the first show started. I would say, you look up somebody as brilliant as look up Robert Anton Wilson, and then go see Alan Watts, and then go see their connection to the evilest man in the world, the greatest occultist ever, Aleister Crowley. Like, nobody knew this dude. Everybody like, well, but it says right here, according to this, and then this and this, and it's like, man, I don't. Whatever. It's like watching a movie or something. Like, who cares? Yeah. Ripe Soul, yeah, that was, yeah. Katesh, do I think open sexual relationships actually work the best? I think for some people. I don't think for most people it would work. I don't think it could work. There's too much, there's too much with standard society's norms, people's jobs, family, if people are going to get sucked up into those kind of mindsets of like, yeah, so no, I don't think it'd work for most people. I think it's a select number of people that are comfortable with it. And most people aren't honest enough with themselves to be in an open relationship, because that involves honesty. Even like I mean, this is why people get in monogamous relationship. They end up being not honest because they don't want to be in a monogamous relationship. But thus, the whole cycle continues because nobody really knows what they really want. So yeah, I don't know if they work better. I was just eating some chocolate. So okay, Eli Jen, you read in Krishnamurti's. You're talking about UG, yeah. I think that's I think that's probably the first feeling I had on him, but I'll check him out again. Yeah, the quote that I gave was not from UG. That was from Jiddu Krishnamurti. Two different people. And there's Electric Towel to give you the perfect. There you go. Hair as an antenna. If y'all read that, which the length, style, curl, twist is attuned and resonates to a particular frequency or a wavelength, which is about the size of it. It even goes to why you put a top knot on it certain times, because the portal for your energy is actually the spiral here. Ew. Sorry to hear that, Aldrin. That's awful. Torin, you believe in evolution. I don't see how it could not exist. Well, have fun with that belief. You know, I've covered that 100,000 times. So and it's too much to get onto here, but I say it very simply. An apple creates a seed that then creates an apple. Done. An apple seed does not create a pineapple, and it never will. A fish is not creating a pineapple seed. And from the concept, even taking it one step farther, something of weakness never creates something that is great. The only thing that can happen is a decayed version of the highest source. The highest form of order, of perfection, already existed in nature. Whatever we call this whole thing. And the only thing this could be is something less than that. You can't produce something more powerful, more than what it started as. A completely chaotic, idiotic universe, spinning shit around through space, explodes, creates all of this order everywhere, and then some sort of weird little thing, I don't know how it divided the water and the air and all of these different things, and all of a sudden there's this fish that came out of it. It's a fish. So then this fish decided to crawl onto land. That's insane. That's insanity to me, like to believe that. And then to somehow that fish fucked a monkey and then created, and where did the monkey come from? But then the monkey became us. I'm not a monkey. I'm a god. I'm a living, walking, breathing god. Period. I'm not a monkey. I didn't evolve from a monkey. But I mean, if you believe so, have fun with those, because that's just a belief, Even the sense of what I'm saying now, it is a belief, yes. It's just, for me, it's a much harder thing to sell me. If I had to put the two side by side, I'm not gonna buy that belief over there. I'm not gonna believe or purchase. If I got tokens, I got 100 tokens, and I'm gonna put it into a pot. One pot being stationary earth, I'm a god, I come from a high form, and the other one is some weird shit happened a long time ago, nothing exploded into everything, perfect order and harmony came out of it, now there's some hot ball of sun flying through some galaxy wherever, now everything is in perfect functioning order in that galaxy that happened out of some explosion and then actually created a ball perfectly, and then gravity somehow happens, and all of a sudden all of these things start ordering themselves in a perfect geometric harmony based upon the golden ratio. And then all of a sudden, now I got a computer to use in front of me to talk to you about things, but that came out of a fish farting into the ocean and creating a monkey to fuck a. I mean, that's to me is like, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have any money left over to put into that belief system because it's literally insane to me. But what do I know? That's just my belief. What's up, buddy? Terms of greatness. Yes, I've heard about all of that stuff. The magic mushroom cults and all that. Yeah, there's a couple great books that I've read on that, and I've told some stories that out of some of those books about Christmas and the mushroom and the shamans, and there's good stuff there. And could a spiritual person have a relationship with a non-spiritual person? I mean, I'm assuming your question, I'm going to answer it the way that you're forming it, even though we're all spiritual people. Yeah, we all have those relationships to a degree, but not any major groundbreaking ones. A very spiritual person would have to do some teaching or unearthing of things to a non-spiritual person. It could, it wouldn't be very, but yeah, it happens all the time. We walk around people spiritually advanced, spiritually subpar all the time. I don't think you ever get away from that idea. Yeah, there we go. The physical is the spiritual. Yeah, there you go. What up, John Steven Fernandez? Yeah, Katash, that's a really long one to get into, but yeah, I hear you on that. Like, it tends to be that way because there is something different about the emotional bonding for a woman than there is for a man. Prior to having, like, if two people come together that are perfect for each other and are like, what? That's apparent and very obvious. But as far as standard relationships would occur on this planet, there is still that kind of harken back to what is the woman's purpose. What is the man's purpose? Like, women have breasts and produce milk for a reason and hold the baby for a reason. And producing that baby requires what is then the male's identity as the father figurative person to do the protecting of the woman and child, right? But then if we got into all of the, larger, as someone was talking about the mushroom cults and all of the...
Should have it?
Those ideas of mushroom cults and then having those group orgies and like, oh, it takes a village to raise a child. That's where the idea comes from because nobody then knows who the father was really. But where we are today in modern society, yeah, usually there's something to do with, the male being a little more uncomfortable with it for a reason. I think it's somewhat... not saying genetics that way because I don't believe in genetics that way, but yeah, I think it has something to do with that. What up, Super Champion Rocker? Well, Torin, evolution is adapting to the environment. If you're just saying that, then yeah, everything's evolving. In that sense, Torin, absolutely. Everything is evolving. You're evolving as a person, but you're evolving back to what you used to be, to a form that you came from, which is of a higher order. When you were a baby, you were pooping in your pants and you couldn't take care of yourself. But then you grow up to actually be able to wipe your own ass, But that process is only bringing you back to, as I like the term that Neville Goddard says, God created man so that man could become God. It got boring being God. Let's make smaller versions of me and run around with a little bit of, as Dan Winter would say, you came through the portal, you had your mind erased from all of the memory of being God, and then you put up clues along the way to remind you that you are actually the prime universal motive force and creative essence of the universe that creates anything that you want, which is what you were to begin with, is a master metaphysician God that then took human form and then lowered himself or herself into a lower realm of density. Yeah, thank you, Corey. That's a better term of putting it. Like, adaption is the correct word. Adaption and morphing is a better word too. So it's not necessarily evolving, but adaption and morphing. Those are great words. So I think a lot of people that may even believe in evolution, if you presented the idea of adaption and morphology, that's probably more fit really what their mind would be thinking. And good to see you, Corey. Terms of greatness. Yeah, I have. I talked about this a little earlier too. Funny. Wim Hof. Good stuff. Get into it. It's great. All good stuff. In fact, I'll do some videos on it. So for people that haven't seen it, and we can just walk right through. It's so, you know, it's simple. It's basically like hyperventilating. Oh, it's not even high. You know, it's putting yourself to a point of over oxygenating your body, and there's plenty of ways to do that. His happened to be just the simplest. And he gets like, he's basically taking old ancient knowledge that he didn't even really know existed and turning it into a brute force method. Just saying, here's what you do. You keep breathing. People are like, what? No, just keep breathing. Well, how? In my nose or my mouth? No, just breathe. That's what he says. Now, if I was an ancient yogi, I'd be like, here's the way we need to do this. I want you to breathe in here and out of your mouth because I know that's going to give you a discharge of, you know, I could go through all that. But his motivation, his motive force is saying literally people across the board need more oxygen in their system. Put oxygen in there. Put fuel in your car. Your car ain't working? Put fuel in it. Let's go. That's what he's saying. That's what he's doing. It's perfect. But then to the next level up, as a higher level practitioner, they say, okay, I'm glad the car is moving. I'm glad the car is running. But can we turn a dial here? Can we put a new muffler in here? Can we put a higher grade fuel in here? Can we change the oil? Can we do these things? And so that's the difference. He's just brute force, like, let's go. Because most people out here, they ain't gonna be listening to the fuck I gotta say. I'm gonna tell them all about your 4 fingers actually mean the 4 breathing, patterns, which are actually 4 brain waves, which are actually connected to your 4 things in your DNA, which are connected to the 4 seasons, connected to the 4 elements. And I'm gonna go through this thing. They're like, what? Wim Hof is like, just breathe, And I think it's brilliant. It's a great idea. I think Buddhist temples are awesome, Sticky Icky. Go there and enjoy them. Why do some people use this for the power of evil? Well, there is no evil power. It just is power. It just happens to be. I think most people don't know it, so they go about using leveraging systems that aren't actually mental leveraging systems. That's the idea of what the false concept, and I say false concept because people use the word wrong, but when people say someone is either a materialist or a Satanist, it's much the similar word, but they think they need to use the physical world to go about getting what they want. So therefore they're using a subpar system to create an environment which turns out to be a lot of the places and cities we live in. If they were using the highest form of creativity and their mind to create things, the world would be different. But they're actually using a physical, status, Satanist, Santa-ish, use whatever word you want, materialist, concrete viewpoint of this. They come from a mindset, remember this, of Newtonian physics, a materialist mind point, that the world, that physical somehow made consciousness, that made a brain, which doesn't, it will never work. It hasn't worked. It doesn't work that way. Consciousness what came first, the chicken or the egg? Neither of those came first. The mind of God came first. That's it. And then that whole, whatever energy system it is, the whole kit and caboodle out here, the whole breathing, intensity, and all, and we just mash it all together. Thought came first, then we molded all of this out of it. But most people ain't playing with that because they don't know it exists, because they believe it to be different. They believe it to be the upside down triangle rather than the upside. You have the 2 triangles. One is the inverted way of looking at the world from the top down, and then one is the top from the bottom up. To construct from the bottom up. So it's just two different ways of looking at how the world functions. One happens to be not completely accurate, but it's what we're looking at, though. What up, Sun Soul? MK, back to furthering your question here. Why are humans bent on destruction? I think most people are not bent on destruction, but to play with those words, I think they're more concerned with Shiva, because there are so many systems right now that are absolutely chaos and, they're not constructive. We have systems right now that are playing and they're in order and they look like they're constructing something, and there's people out here that are bent on destruction, meaning Shiva. They want to destroy that and burn it down because it's not actually doing, it's not the best system for humans. Like, if I look at this car over here and see that there's some parts in it that aren't working, and I start ripping the car apart, you'd be like, why are you destroying the car? I'm like, no, I need to pull this car apart to put parts in it that work right. But anybody else would be like, oh, you're destroying the entire creation of that car. Like, the car was built all wrong. And so we have a bunch of things that have been built all wrong. And by wrong, I don't, we have to use those terms and ideas very loosely about right and wrong, because there's not really, but what is of the highest order? What is quality? What is healthy versus not so healthy, not healthy at all, and just like, it's steering in one direction. Higher order or less order. That's all. Yeah, even in destruction, there is a form of creation as long as it's understood what it's, getting rid of something that doesn't need to be there. Yeah, Christine. Does magic operate on a physical level or just mental? I've done quite a few videos on that, and I think there's 3 levels to magic. But just to answer that quickly, because I don't have a lot of juice left, because that would get into a big thing. It works through the mind into the places you can't see, and obviously it comes out as a physical thing. All magic is coming out as a physical event. Something physical is occurring, so it doesn't necessarily use the physical. We can use a wand, we can use a sigil, we can use a talisman's idol. We can use a form and imbue it with energy, magical energies, but it doesn't, again, it's not the thing, it's not the vessel, it's the thing inside of it. What up, Andrew Christensen? Yeah, MK, I mean, that seems correct to everyone. Why not create for man to thrive? But I'll say this, as I've gotten to before, just give you a little, like, if we're all here as immortals, and I think that to be truly so, and we do things throughout this life to actually kill ourselves off, because if everyone was immortal and had children, this whole entire planet would become quickly overpopulated. So this, I think, in the whole grand scheme of things, Earth is a sorting mechanism. It's a sorting mechanism for immortals. That would be my highest thought of this matter, of who and how someone becomes immortal. It's a processing plant, in the most basic, like, crude way of saying it. Oh, laughter is the highest form, man. I mean, that's like, what is the greatest good? Happiness, humor, life, joy, love, pleasure. Like, laughing is of the greatest pleasure. Laughing during sex, oh man, break your brain. If you laughing during sex, like, that's lose your mind shit right there. That's some Taoist tantric out of your. My favorite comedian, that's tough, man. There's a lot of them, but right now, in this time and space, Bill Burr kills it. Bill Burr is the epitome of comedy, because he doesn't care what you think at all. Zero shits about your opinion of anything. So he's just tenacious, brutal, perfect comedian. Before that, it would have obviously been like Carlin, but even that, it's hard to say Carlin was never a comedian. Well, he was in the beginning of his career, but then he became a philosopher very fast. He was a philosopher that tied everything together with a few punchlines of witty little jokes. Well, very big jokes. He was not laughing. Yeah, exactly, Katash. We're the directors, not in the movie, but directing and playing it. And then somewhere along your life, the idea is you get to pick up the book, you get a pen, and you get to start editing while the thing's going along. That's what magic is. And go, oh shit, I mean, I got control over this? Like, yeah, you have the whole time. What do you mean? And people get caught up in that, and they go, I mean, this whole time I could have been doing something, something different. And like, yeah, you could have. And then people get stuck there, going, man, what? No, stop focusing on the past. Here, here's the pen, here's the paper. Design out what you want. Go. And then people get caught and go, oh, but I don't know. You mean I got all this power? Like, yeah, you do. And they get caught at those two places. Either going, I should have been doing something in the past and getting stuck there, or saying, I don't know what to do. Here's a pen, here's paper. Go ahead. Write out your future. Go ahead, write out your future in your mind. You're not strong enough to do it in your mind? Write it down on a piece of paper. Write a book about it if you got to. Yeah, don't look in, as soon as you, if people, Torin, I like that. Once you realize non-duality is like there's no problems, I think what's easier for people to do, instead of going from a dualistic world to a universal, singular, one-point world, if we, instead of going that dualistic thing, if we just say, no, the world is tri-union, there's triplicities, now all of a sudden, there's not just a yes and a no, but there's a wait a second, or a hold on, or a curious thing, there's a hyperposition. Once you give somebody the knowledge that there's a hyperposition, and then give them 3, then all of a sudden their variables change. Then there's no battle. There can be no battle. There is either this 1 and these 2, or there's 3. It's not like 1 versus 1. That's a battle. If you got 3, then 3 can be on the same side. 2 is going to overpower 1. Any way you look at it, you know what I mean? And that just from the perspective for people. I'm not saying, and that just gives somebody one more perspective so they can get off that teeter-totter. You got 1 and 1, that's a teeter-totter all day. That ain't real. That ain't true. If they don't know how to play just as a single entity, well, then there's 3. That will help imbalance someone that thinks there's some sort of black and white world. Oh, nice. KRS? Nice. I'll look into that. Cam, I can't answer that fully, only because I haven't done it too much. But the simple thing is, the cold and press. One is the cold and the hot is compression, and then that's what's happening. It's just the standard thing, breathing in, breathing out. It's just speeding up the compression process. So cold therapy helps to pull, like tense up the body, and then express it. Tension, expression. It really turns into what isometric exercises are. Isometrics are the way to go because of how good they are, at least at the beginning, because of how good they are for all parts of your system. Meaning your your nervous system, your tendons, your fibers of your muscles, everything that's going on. Using isometrics is the way to go. And you're basically, hot and cold is what isometrics are. Compression, relaxing. And most people don't use the cold. Think of it this way. People want to lift weights. They pick it up real strong, but then they drop it. So they're getting rid of a bunch of different supporting muscles. They're getting rid of the actual opposite value. If you're pulling it up this way, you should drop it just as slowly and controlled, like in anything you do. But even at that, like, who's doing this all day? Like, what in life is this maneuver? There's not a lot of life-specific exercises. That's why you have to get into all of the primal movement patterns, and those kind of things. Torrin, I'm confused as your question. The entire planet, wasn't it an infinite plane? What you mean? Don't, if I said that, don't be dicing up my words, because I thought you meant, well, apparently we're gonna devoid everything you just said because you said the entire planet. What did I laugh about? I don't know, just the whole entire thing of how intense and weird it was. Instance, what did I laugh about during sex? It was just, I don't know, it's just a humorous thing. It was fun. Yeah, you never know what it is, if it's infinite or non-infinite. I don't know. It's just, for as far as I can see, as far as I can tell, it seems to be where I live. So yeah, check it out, y'all. This is I only got like 1 more minute here, but if you also do desire, it's not that late, so I could probably kick up another little video when I get home if y'all want to join for a little longer, because I got a little more energy in me. I'll see. It'll take me about 30 minutes to get home though. Well, maybe a little longer than that. I gotta take care of puppy. Sarah Millison. If that was from me, Christine, I don't know who that is. Terms of greatness. Terms of greatness. I don't have any regimen per se. No. Not at all. Although I'm going to this winter or this fall structure some things so that other people can, well, and myself too, because there are some things that I'd like to be a little more structured. It just depends on my time of life, where I am. But like right now and where I've been for a little bit, I don't have very much structure per se. But I'm going to do a lot of things that have to do with, upgrading the body, physical movement patterns, and practices, eating and such. That I'm going to get on a regimen so that other people can have a regimen to follow. Because these are things that I've done in the past, but I just haven't lately. So I'll get back to them, and we'll work on those. Yeah, so check it out, y'all. I'm gonna make moves. So if anybody wants, I'll probably be back on here. Like, give me like 45 minutes, like 10:30 my time, I guess. Yeah, give me 10:30 my time if y'all want to jump back on here. And as always, you can give me the thumbs up, or feel free to make micro or macro donations to the Zen Being Awesome Fund of drinking and reading tarot and teaching you all about the infinite universe that we live in, which is somehow just inside of your head. So yeah, cheers, y'all.